This is Real Estate Today.
Hello and welcome to Real Estate Today, your trusted program for everything property, housing, investment, and community development. My name is Marian, and today's episode is themed Essential Issues in Landlord and Tenant Relationships in Nigeria. Did I hear a sigh? Are you ready? Pull up. There's a lot to talk about. It is going to be an interesting one, so you have to stay with us. This is Real Estate Today, brought to you courtesy ML Coro and Associates, and of course, QShelter. It is now time for the Property Pulse, where we bring you the latest developments shaping the Nigerian housing sector.
In Nigeria's fast-growing cities, securing a place to live is more than a milestone. It is a challenge shaped by complex tenancy practices. From high upfront payments to unclear agreements, the relationship between landlords and tenants is evolving, often without clear structure or protection. Across the country, tenancy structures vary widely. In many cases, tenants are required to pay 1 to 2 years' rent in advance, placing significant financial pressure on individuals and families. At the same time, limited awareness of tenant rights leaves many vulnerable to unfair practices, disputes, and sudden evictions.
Before, they increase your money like 3, 4, 5 years, which I've been staying as a tenant. But now they don't do it. After a year payment, the next year you are seeing, they will tell you you cannot be paying that amount again because of due to circumstances or due to what is going on in the country, that you have to pay this extra money. And if you are not ready to pay, you have to move out. Even that one you are paying before, you don't have the money to pay. You have been borrowing here, borrowing there to pay. Now they are adding more. Are we not in trouble? We're in trouble.
I would like the government to help us for the house increasement. It's too much. As of last year, I was paying 200,000 in my apartment, but now it's more than 400,000. Both the agent and agreement, I have to pay it extra. So it's too much. Government, please help us. Help the poor people. We are suffering.
Wannan abu da kuke gani shine halin da yawa daga cikin 'yan Najeriya waɗanda suke zaune a ƙasashen ƙetare suke fama da shi. Za su turo da kuɗi, su amincewa mutane, amma daga ƙarshe babu gida, babu dalilinsu. Barka da zuwa Renewed Hope City, Janguza. Unguwa ce mai cike da tsaro, sannan kuma a kowane gida an samar da solar inverter, an samar muku da tituna fetar, ga makarantu na Islamiyya da kuma na boko, akwai wuraren ibada, akwai kuma gurin shakatawa domin shakatawa tare da iyalanka. Wannan shine 3-bedroom terrace, wato gida mai ɗaki 3 tare da kuma BQ. Wannan shine gida mai ɗaki 4, wato 4-bedroom bungalow. Wannan da kuke gani shine gida mai ɗaki 3, wato 3-bedroom bungalow. Wannan shine 4-bedroom duplex, wato gida mai ɗaki 4 tare da BQ da kuma study room, wato ɗakin karatu.
Muna da Renewed Hope City, Janguza, Kano, Karsana, Abuja. Muna kuma da 2004 Estate, Lagos, Ogun State, Shagamu.
Waɗannan gidaje an yi su ne da sahalewar gwamnatin tarayya tare da haɗin gwiwa da kamfaninmu na QShelter. An gina su cikin tsari, gaskiya da kuma cikakkiyar kulawa. Barka da zuwa Renewed Hope City, Janguza, inda kowa kan iya mallakar gida cikin sauƙi kuma ka zauna lafiya tare da iyalanka.
Za ka iya mallakar gida ka biya cikin sauƙi ko kuma ka ɗauki tsarin mortgage wanda za ka biya daga yanzu har tsawon shekaru 30 ba tare da ka biya kuɗin ruwa ba. Renewed Hope City, hanyar mallakar gida cikin sauƙi.
Welcome back. You're still watching Real Estate Today. Welcome to Housing Explained. And of course, today's topic is one that is for the books. Everybody is involved. It is the relationship between tenants, landlords, who is who? Who owns which responsibility? This is an issue that I have heard about stories from when I was a child to now that I also, am in it. So we're going to be having someone who is going to give us more insight on whose responsibilities certain things rest upon. Joining us today is estate surveyor and valuer, Bishop Femi Akinlusi of Femi Akinlusi Co. And he will help us understand the essential issues surrounding landlord and tenant relationships in Nigeria. Bishop, it's not a small topic today.
I know. I know.
So let's tighten our belt because, even when you're on X, Twitter, Facebook, there's always one fight. Videos of
Correct.
Amazing things happening between
Correct.
tenants
Yes.
and landlords. So I'm going to start with, first of all, what is the responsibility of a landlord to a tenant? Because I know the tenant pays rent. And a lot of times it's like when you paid rent, oh, that's it, that's all I just give you the house as is and they move on.
Very
but
well.
what is the responsibility of a landlord to a tenant?
Thank you, madam. Thank you. Essentially, according to Maslow's thoughts, hierarchy of needs, after food, shelter.
Mm-hmm.
That is the more reason why this topic is very important. There's nothing you intend to do in this world without having shelter. Commercial premises, residential premises, industrial premises, you need shelter. So that is why this topic is very important. I will start with the residential, where you have tenants and you have landlord. First and foremost, the landlord builds a house, not for charity. He intends to have a profit, returns from the investment. He must have borrowed money from banks or financial institutions, must have used his capital, probably pension, maybe savings over the years to build a house, to accommodate maybe a family or a unit of accommodation, tenement houses or duplexes or flats. So he needs returns. So that's why he decided to give the accommodation out for a return in terms of a form of rent. So responsibility, first and foremost, of the landlord is the rent payment. He wants the tenants to be paying the rent regularly to him so that he can have return on his investment. And also, the tenant must take care of the property. You don't use the property in a way that will be against the law.
Yeah.
You should not use the property for probably criminal activities. That's another responsibility. You should maintain the fixtures and fittings, like electricity fittings, like plumbing items. Take care of those things properly. And equally, it's the responsibility of the tenant not to sublet or probably sublet the property without the knowledge of the landlord. And in some cases, the landlord might accept that he should sublet, but he cannot do it without the knowledge of the landlord, because you want to know the kind of the person or tenant or people that's using the house. Equally, the tenants, we always ask, what are the kind of accommodation? I mean, the number of people that will live in the house. For instance, if you write it, we always have tenants form.
Okay.
As a professional estate surveyor and valuer. Even the problem of between landlord and tenant starts from the screening stage. That is when you intend to have tenants into your accommodation. So that is why it's advisable. Use a professional estate surveyor and valuer. The professionals, so that this problem will have been nipped in the bud before it's a boomerang. It turns to probably larger problem that it will affect the landlord, affect the tenant, affect the house. So more importantly, what I'm trying to say is that the responsibility of the tenants are enormous and very germane. Very important is the tenancy agreement. The estate surveyor and valuer representing the landlord in this instance must ensure that a proper tenancy agreement is in place This will dictate and indicate and show the responsibilities, usually called the rights and obligations of the tenant, and also the rights and obligations of the landlord. So what I'm saying in essence is that it behoves on the landlord and tenant to put a tenancy agreement in place to indicate, to show, to reflect in written form, not oral. Not oral, because oral could be denied, people could be forgetful. So essentially, that is very important. And the tenant should not deny the landlord from visiting the property.
Well, in visiting the property, we've heard people say, my landlord just comes anytime he wants, without notice, without information. He just comes and he wants me to open the door.
Very, very wrong.
Okay.
Very, very wrong. It's unprofessional. You need to, because the landlord is paying rent for the accommodation for a certain period of time. And the landlord, the tenant deserves to be given
notice,
quiet enjoyment of the place.
Yes.
So you cannot just bang on the tenant any time of the day or any time of the month. You have to give them 7 days notice that you'll be visiting the house to check for proper usage. Because some people might have 2 tenants, maybe a couple with 2 children. Before you know it, they will turn to about 10 people in their house.
One of the things that you hear a lot of people complaining about is how their landlords increase rent just like that. Oh, and they say things like, but you know how the economy is. So what's your advice to tenants? If you take the house, should there be a clause that there is at least for the next 2 years, it's fixed? Because everybody's complaining before their rent ends, landlord has already given them notice that it's going. So it's like yearly. 2, people also talk about service charge. You started with $650 service charge. Before the year even runs out, it becomes $950. What are the protections put in place for things like this?
Thank you. Thank you for that question too. Very good question. Number 1, the first question on the issue of increment of rent. That is also why I mentioned tenancy agreement. A tenancy agreement, you have to increase the rent yearly. If it's 2 years interval, you have to put it. Some people even go to the extent of putting the percentage of increment.
That's a good one.
Sure, in the agreement. But I will not support that because the economy, I've mentioned something earlier on that rent is a return on investment, capital outlay. Equally, if you put at 10% incremental every year or 2 years interval, the landlord might be shortchanged because the economic cycle in the nation does, even these days, initially it's always a year or 2 years or 3 years before economic cycle changes. But today, it's nearly 3 months.
Okay, we're going to take a short break here. When we come back, I'm still going to ask, okay, so we understand that the landlord is under pressure with all the economic indices, but how about the tenant who's also in the economy? How is he also protected? And secondly, there's some charges. We don't know who takes it, the landlord or the tenants, from capex charges, from developmental charges, all of that, especially if you live in an estate. We'll talk about that and more after this break.
Imagine living where every sunrise feels like success. Welcome to a new icon on Alexander Road, Ikoyi, Lagos. Now selling. A magnificent 21-story high-rise edifice offering 54 beautifully designed 2-bedroom and 3-bedroom en-suite luxury apartments. Step into elegance. Experience comfort without compromise. Enjoy the serenity of Ikoyi with the prestige that comes with it. This is where refined taste meets prime location, where smart investors recognize lasting value, and where families create a future in style. Opportunities like this don't stay long. Secure yours today. For inquiries, please call M.I. Okoro and Associates through the numbers displayed on your screen. Live elevated. live extraordinary.
All right, welcome back. It's still Real Estate Today, and we're still talking landlord and tenant relationships. I have a strong feeling that we're going to have Bishop come back again because we cannot finish everything today. Before we took the break, I was saying, so we understand the economy, the indices of the economy, and why the landlord is like, well, this is what's happening in the economy, I have to increase. But the tenant is also in this economy, and many times the problem we have with the increase, for instance, the landlord just doubles because he's saying for a year ago, 2 years ago, dollar was what, 700, 650. It's now 1,500. His son is
3
in school.
years ago, it was around 500.
500, yes. 450.
450.
And his son is in the US schooling, and this is the property that pays the school fee. So for him, he triples it and says, because I have to pay. Now, the challenge is the tenant who is there is working in an economy that is, the prices are going up, but his income most times is still static. So what happens to that tenant? Where can he get help? What's the protection?
Thank you. Very good question, Madam. The solution lies with the government. Government should not be insensitive because the essence of governance in the Constitution, Federal Republic of Nigeria, is to provide for the good welfare and security of the citizens. So if a government cannot provide for good welfare and the security of the citizens, what are they there for? At this local government level, state government level, federal government level, they have to see to the issue of accommodation. I've said after food, you can see they are subsidizing food production, encouraging the banks, agricultural banks, a lot of interventions. So they need to focus on housing so that government should have intervention, arrangements, more and more. Encourage the developers, encourage those that, even banks, to fund, like they have some incentives given to the instruction, to give incentive to the agricultural production. But we need such in the housing sector so that housing supply of housing sector, there will be additions. The supply should increase. And the government should provide the necessary infrastructure. They should also equally provide the necessary enabling environment so that these things will be very easy for the citizens.
Citizens to even own.
Yes, the tenant too wants to have a home.
Yeah, that's the
They
dream.
can't be the tenant forever. By providing site and services, you can see what the Jakande did during his regime. He provided low-cost houses in Ipaja, at Abeson, at Iponri, at Mile 2.
Yeah.
Look at that, a lot of people. I learned that the accommodation, a flat was sold for about 11,000 then.
I wonder how much it is now. Now,
with mortgage support. Okay. Yes, so that's one. Then another thing is that let them open up site and services. Let us be encouraged so that there will be a kind of improvement, support for these building materials. Let there be, yes, that's another area. Look at a cement now, 1 bag of cement. And if the producer will stock, I remember when Dagote mentioned, he said that the tax on all these things and also transportation. Yes.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure talking with you today. Thank you for educating us and helping us to understand why this situation is what it is.
Thank you, ma.
You're still watching Real Estate Today. I do hope that we're getting as much information. There's a lot to ask and a lot to talk about when it comes to tenant and landlord relationships. We can't finish it in one day. But I think one of the things that I got from here is an agreement. It's always good to have an agreement, not verbal, Not
Written.
text message, written, signed by both parties. So
Yes,
we will not
stating the
hear stories.
responsibilities.
Yeah, no, we
Yes.
not hear stories afterwards. Okay, it's time to leave the studios and go out into town for our Site and City Watch segment, where we bring updates from ongoing estate developments across Nigeria.
Hello everyone, my name is Chikere Darlington. I'm one of the engineers in 2004 estate. On this week episode, we have block of flats. This is 3-bedroom with parking, and in 3-bedroom with parking, we have 225 by 225 column, and we have 225 by 450 column. And at this stage now, we have 225 by 450 beams, and at the car parking side, we have 600 by 300 beams. Likewise, 300 by 450 beams as well. At this stage we are now, we are about to start casting. Although iron bender fitters are working, carpenters are working, mechanical and electrical engineer, they are working as well to put this magnificent edifice in place. Regarding the pace of work we are sensing here, by next week we are moving higher and higher. We are going to greater height by next week. Thank you.
Welcome to 2004 Estate, Monastery Coastal Road, where dreams find a home. Here, we're building more than just houses. We're creating a vibrant community for the future. With a proven track record in Asokoro, Abuja, and Kano, delivering over 5,000 quality housing units, our promise stands strong. Every project reflects commitment, excellence, and delivery on time. The journey has just begun, but the vision is clear. Every inch of the 2004 estate is designed with care. From our flood-proof groundwork to deep filling up to 1.7 meters, aligned with the coastal road, to ensure lasting safety and structural stability. Developed by Continental Civil, our expertise shapes every detail. From flood-resistant foundation work to precise sand filling, every phase reflects our unmatched record of delivery. 2004 Estate is where modern living meets Nigerian pride. A place to grow, connect, and thrive. Secure your place today. The foundation is set. Your future starts now.
Now, one thing is clear after our discussion today on the show: a successful landlord-tenant relationship is built on clarity, fairness, and mutual respect. I do hope that you've learned one or two things from this, and the next time it's not jungle justice, okay, when you have an argument. Thank you so much for being a part of Real Estate Today. We will be back same time, same station next week. A big thank you to Emma Okoro and Associates and QShelter for ensuring that we have this show every week and we are informed. My name is Marian. Thank you for watching.